My name is Gabriel Sarah, and today is the 11th of December at 4:34 a.m. Missed it by 2 minutes. So I'm not 100%. I feel much better from yesterday, but today's EFT tapping topic is based on purpose and love and doing things with more love. And I'm guilty of not doing things with greater love, choosing to do things with much greater love moving forward at this stage of my life. Yesterday, I watched this movie on Mother Teresa, and I'm not familiar with her. I'm not familiar with her story. I'm not familiar with her story. I'm not familiar with. Hold on, I need a minute. I need to take a break. Hold on. There. So as I was saying, I'm not 100% right now, and that's okay. I watched the movie yesterday with Mother Teresa, and I remember people having their own opinions about her, and that's fine. I don't know alternative stories to Mother Teresa. I choose to believe that there was someone that had a lot of love in their heart, and they did God's work. And at this stage of my life, that is a top focus of mine. It's to do work with a lot of love. It's to do it with great love. And my intention is to heal my heart of a lot of wounds, heal my heart of a lot of discord and anger. I grew up with a group of people that I was related to by blood that had their own challenges in life. And I saw what that was like growing up. And I took on some of those imprints. One of them being anger. My biological mother was notorious, from what I remember, for having a lot of anger. And I don't choose that for myself. And I don't choose to teach that to my children. I don't choose to teach them to live from a state of anger. So this movie, as I watched it, there were certain parts of the movie that I just started watching it, and tears just started to come out, and I thought to myself, yeah, I could do that. I could do something. I could do something where I could do it with more love. There is something that I can do with more love. There's something that I can provide to the world with more love. But I'm not an expert, though. I am not an expert. I'm not a guru. I don't claim to be, and I don't pretend to be. I'm just choosing to do it with my love. I'm just choosing to do things from a state of great love. That's all I'm choosing at this stage now. And I think that's what resonates more with me about this, is doing the thing with great love. But in order to do that thing with great love, I realize that I have to clear out that part of me that does things from a place of scarcity, rush, fear, panic. I'm aware that I do certain things. I take action from a place of fear and scarcity at times. I take action from a place of this has to get done. I have to rush through this. And that does not help. That is not going to solve anything. So, having said that, I'm going to open up the EFT GPT, which once again you can download. It's in the description. Let's get out this EFT GPT. Where is this thing? Yep, that's right. I was using ChatGPT to come up with a title for today because I have no idea. I have no idea. But this is just for me right now. That's enough. Okay. So from here, EFT GPT. Okay. I want to EFT tap on fulfilling my purpose with greater love. I watched Mother a racing movie yesterday. In the movie, she was saying to do things to love. That is, I have been watching as I was growing up. The only person that worked in my relative circle was my biological mother. Everyone else was on public assistance or disability. And I've seen her working. She got fired from her job when I was around 11 or 12. And then shortly after that, we were homeless. And what I realized from that situation, was that, and what I learned was that work equals hate. Going into a job means you hate your job. It's just a way to pay the bills. And that imprint was stuck with me. Yes. Let's go through this. Let us do this work. So I want to fulfill my purpose with more love. I want to surrender to God's will for me and just let that guide me as my true north for fulfilling my dharma slash purpose. The thing that I am noticing that might be a conflict is from possible imprints. One, I never saw any of my relatives work a job except my biological mother, and she was poorly paid. And I think she hated her job. But it was a way for her to put food on the table too. Today, I see people online that quit their jobs on camera. I see people in movies that hated their job. And I saw, for example, the other week a movie called Good Fortune, where the main character was working multiple jobs and barely making ends meet. So I think there's this topic to clear up about work and what I do for money, and clearing this so that I can be a vessel for God and do God's work and know and trust that I'll be provided and supported. Yeah, so these are the things that I'm, I guess, in conflict with. And for the last 5 years, I've been not necessarily trading the financial markets full time. I have been oscillating between learning how to trade the financial markets, trading the financial markets, failing at trading the financial markets, having some successes at trading the financial markets. And I have made that my career. And while there's a lot of things that I really enjoy about trading, there's also some things that I don't enjoy about trading. While there's a lot of things that I enjoy about this, there's also some things I don't enjoy about this, and putting my face on a camera, putting a camera in front of my face. And I think that the conflict for me is I live in a timeline, we live in a timeline where cash makes everything go. Finances makes everything go. The camera that I use, this candle, this statue, the computer, everything, it was all acquired through money, through cash. Not even money, because you know the technical thing for money is that it has to be a medium of exchange, unit of account, and a store of value. And fiat currency only meets two of those requirements. It has no value. It's just a debt note. But we live our lives chasing this paper. I am aware of that. I am very aware of that. I just think you know what to do. You know what to do for money. You know what to do for cash. Or at least you think you do. These are the imprints that I had. These are the imprints that I had. What am I doing? We haven't even started yet. I'm still tapping on my collarbone. Now, okay, let's go back to this. Thank you. This is a rich and beautifully honest starting point. We'll continue the required intake steps exactly as outlined. You've already given a clear statement of the issue. I want to fulfill my purpose with greater love. I want to surrender to God's will and trust that I will be supported. But there are imprints around work being hard, poorly paid, or soul crushing. This gives us a meaningful, that's not what I said, but all right. This gives us a meaningful emotional thread to follow. Before we explore parts, scripts, or tapping, we must continue the structured intake. Intake 2. When you tune into this conflict, I want to serve God with love, but I don't fully trust that I'll be supported because I saw work modeled as a struggle, resentment, and scarcity. What is the earliest memory or a strong memory where you felt something similar? Hmm. What is the earliest memory? I think it was when I lost her job. She was, there was a period where she was taking many days off from work, and she thought that because she had a city job, she couldn't be fired, which was really stupid, in my opinion. And then one day, she was placed on an involuntary leave of absence, aka fired. And I remember that around that shortly after there, within months, lights were going out, to pay electricity, child protective services, what's called um, very little food, and ultimately, and the ultimate, we were homeless, evicted from the apartment, homeless, went to the Bronx shelter system for a bit, then would live with her brother, who was a paranoid schizo, I don't know how, oh, there you go, schizophrenic, and uh, had a history of being violent when not taking their medication, and would later do bizarre and scary things like take out knives, kitchen knives, sit and sit in the on the kitchen, sit in the sit on the kitchen dining table, look straight ahead and gaze with this nobody is home look at 9, 10 o'clock at night. And I had school and I was paranoid. What if this guy thinking, what if this guy tries to kill me in my sleep, etc., etc. So I think in my head, I already knew that a job equal safety equals food equals place to live equals no crazy people equals no having to live with people that might hurt me, etc. And that not having a job equals uncertainty, homeless, um, begging, dependent, etc. Yeah, I think also, but at the same time, I think seeing my biological mother and how she treated work, she wasn't excited to go to work. She would put herself on, as she said, autopilot. And I know this because that's what she'd tell me when I didn't want to go to school. She would always say, she would say, just go on autopilot. So I already know what that meant. I already knew that that meant go on autopilot. Basically, don't be present. Basically, don't be present. Just put your body there, move your physical body, and do the thing and go. There was no love in that. So I think I learned from that age time period that work was not something to be loved, but something to be done on autopilot just to get paid. And that's not what I want. And I don't want that for myself. I want to do work that is meaningful to me, and I want to do work that gives me a sense of purpose, and I do it with love in my heart. That's what I want. I want to do my work with love in my heart. And I like the work that I do. I like the work that I do. I like that I'm building systems, and I like that I'm building systems to have it automated for me. There is something about that because it's very mental. It's always evolving. I just gotta figure out how to get paid for it, you know? And I say that because I have kids. I'm a father. I'm a dad. And there's that expectation of, hey, you gotta figure out how to put food on the table. All right, let's see ChatGPT's response. Thank you for sharing this. This is deep, vivid, and emotionally honest. Everything you describe fits directly into the kinds of imprints that shape lifelong beliefs about work, purpose, safety, love, trust in being supported. We will continue the required intake structure exactly. Before we move to parts, setup statements, or tapping, we must complete the remaining intake questions. Intake question 3. Current intensity. When you think about all of this, wanting to fulfill your purpose with love, surrender to God's will, and holding these imprints, on a scale of 1 to 10, or 0 to 10, most intense being 10, how intense does this issue feel right now? Take a deep breath. I'm going to muscle test this for myself. Show me yes. Show me no. Show me true. Show me false. My name is Gabriel. My name is Hema. My name is Soraya. My name is Mama. My name is Gabriel. On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the highest. Well, actually, yeah, that's a possible thing. If I follow my purpose with love, I won't be financially safe or supported. Maybe. Show me yes. Show me no. Show me true. Show me false. If I follow my purpose with love, I won't be financially safe or supported. Okay, that's not true. Let's think. I believe I have to do my purpose with little love. Mm, mm. Okay, let's just do it like this. The intensity around doing work from a place of hate has an emotional charge of 5 or higher. There you go. The emotional intensity of doing work from a place of hate has an emotional charge of 5 or higher. The emotional intensity, the emotional charge of doing work from hate has an emotional charge of 5. It has an emotional charge of 6. 6. Okay. The emotional intensity of doing work place of hate. Okay, so we have a 6 for that statement. The emotional intensity of doing work from a place of hate has a charge of 6. Okay, cool. Okay, next question. All right, I gotta take another break because my nose is running, and this is very uncomfortable here. So we're gonna start this break. I gotta find this napkin somehow, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. We're back. My nose has been dripping, and so I just had to get myself my napkin. Okay, let's get back to this. You already shared pieces of it, and they are powerful. Now I'll ask the structured question exactly as written. When you bring up that memory of your mother losing her job and everything that followed, what do you see, hear, and notice in that moment? When you bring up that memory of your mother losing her job and everything that followed, what do you see, hear? Okay. Right. The main thing I remember is that Christmas when she lost her job. I don't know exactly when she lost her job. Maybe it might weeks prior to that Christmas, and it was the Christmas I was turning 12. My B-day is 1988. So, so what year was that again? Anyway, I remember that I that it was Christmas time, and I think she did just lose her job. And I remember getting these Power Ranger gloves or something. And then it was Christmas Day. I got the gloves that made the karate chop sound or something like that. My biological mother goes into her room, watches me open the gift, goes into her room, closes the door. And as I'm playing with the gloves by myself, I can hear her and I think that that I stopped and I got really sad and I I think I put away the gloves. I was having fun with the gloves and I heard her crying behind closed doors and I felt that good. And it was like in that moment I officially grew up or something. Because shortly thereafter I was like her personal assistant, getting her food constantly, every day actually, going to the store, all this stuff. And I think she was traumatized about losing her job because she never worked a job again to this day. And she currently lives on a couch in the projects with her sister in her sister's apartment. And and that scares the shit out of me. Not trying to be selfish and make it about me. I never want to be in that situation uh, ever again with being homeless. And it's scary because I want to fulfill my purpose and do it with great love in my heart. I have just not seen the cash flowing in, you know? Like I've been spending lots of money. I spent like $18,000 on the domain website for like purpose.com. Like spent 10,000 we spent $10,000 on a web developer to develop the website, and the website came out like shit. And I want to do things with great love. I want to do things with greater love in my heart. Thank you. That memory is incredibly clear. It gives us the emotional nucleus we'll tap on. We are still in the intake phase, and I will continue to follow the required structure exactly. Yeah, okay. Intake, emotions, you with the gloves. Uh, let's see. Sadness, guilt, uh, lonely, hmm, shame. These are the emotions I think I felt at that time. Yep. I think, hmm, what beliefs feel true to me about that time? Uh, work equals money, work equals having food, lights, etc. No, no, yes, true, very true for me. I feel like I cannot relax. I feel like I always have to be doing something, and as I say, moving my ass so that I at least show God I'm trying. You know, that's a huge thing for me. That's a fucking huge thing for me. Money response. Nope. Yeah. The other belief is I want to live on purpose, but how am I going to get paid for it? And the love won't keep me safe. I don't understand that one. I think these are the main beliefs that I have around this. Work equals money. Yeah, possible, possible. Yeah, yeah. I have to work. I can't. I can't slack off. Otherwise, God will punish me. Maybe, maybe, maybe. And I get it. And there is an experience like that, and then you start to see the lights going out. You start to see all of these things happening as a result of not working. It does become this thing where you start to believe, hey, I gotta have this job. Like I gotta take care of my kids. I don't want them to go through the state I went through. These beliefs give us exactly what we need to understand the imprint and the part slash echo that formed during that Christmas moment. We're still in the final steps. Okay. These beliefs hold enormous weight in your nervous system because they were formed in a moment of real danger, not imagined danger. The tapping will help update them from a survival era truth into present day truth. We have one more intake question. Body sensation. I don't know. I don't know. I think my jaw. I really gotta update this GPT. This is taking too long. Okay. Parts echo, I reflect this, possible parts. Okay. Hey, just give me the script, please. Please just give me the script now. Yeah. Okay. So now let's go through this. We've got the identify part, which is the 12-year-old version of me who heard my biological mother crying behind the door, stopped playing believe he had to grow up to hold everything together. Okay. Issue, the emotional intensity and imprint of work being done from a place of hate, fear, and survival, and the fear and the fear that choosing love purpose won't keep you safe. Let's go to round one. Let's start this. I'm going to set a timer for 40 minutes. Okay, let's get to work here. Let's get to work here. Even though this old imprint taught me that work is the only way to stay safe, I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself unconditionally, even though I learned that if I choose love or purpose, I will end up unsafe or homeless. I honor this part of me that's been trying so hard to protect me. Even though I had to grow up at 12 and hold everything together, I deeply honor this part and everything he carried. The sadness, guilt, loneliness, and shame, this memory of hearing her cry behind the door, this jaw tension from holding everything together, this belief that work equals survival, this fear that purpose won't keep me safe, this belief that if I relax, everything collapses. This guilt for wanting a different life, this shame that settled into my body that day, this loneliness of growing up too early, this belief that God won't support me unless I'm grinding, this doubt that purpose can provide, this frustration that I haven't seen cash flowing in, this sadness about what work used to mean, this overwhelm around fulfilling my purpose with love, all this survival fear stored in my body. Yeah, I can feel some irritation right now, actually. I can feel some irritation that is coming up right now. I feel a load of anger I feel a little bit of anger. Why? Because I tried to put my hands just now down to tap on my ankle, and like I felt this like friction. It was hard for me to move my hand down, and I started to just feel this like anger start to come up. And then I'm trying to take a thumbnail, and it's not coming out the way that I want to. The image quality looks too grainy, and then I'm feeling this trigger around the work. And then there's my nose. My nose is clogged. And when I think about my nose being clogged, I think about Yolanda Sarah and how her nose was constantly clogged. And there's a part of me that feels anger about that. When my nose gets clogged, I feel anger around that. And yesterday, I just cleared off my desk, and now there's a whole bunch of stuff on my desk now, and I'm getting angry about that. I'm feeling some anger about that. I figured out a place for everything, and I don't like to say that I'm sick. I'm resisting that. And there's a part of me also that wants to take the day off today and to relax. But then there's also another part of me too that would feel guilty. I would feel very guilty because of this entire situation that happened with our daughter getting taken away from us. I feel like I have to I feel like I have to work. I feel like I have to move. I've got two kids. What am I going to do for money? I haven't finished building the trading operating system. I haven't had the major breakthrough success with trading. I'm afraid. What if I don't make it? What if that's not what God wants for me? What if God wants me to be poor for the rest of my life? I'm afraid. I'm afraid God wants me to be poor for the rest of my life. And I'm scared about that. I'm scared. God wants me to be dependent on that friend that has been financially supporting me and investing into me while I build this trading operating system. I'm scared about that. I'm very scared about that. And this clogged nose, I can't stand it. It gets me angry. It gets me angry to have a blocked nose and I can't breathe and I feel irritated. I feel really irritated about that. Not being able to breathe. I feel really irritated that I'm not able to breathe properly. And if I don't get better by like tomorrow, I'm not gonna go and see my daughter who I only see once every 2 weeks because I'm not gonna put her health at risk just because I want to see her. That's selfish. And I'm scared about that because I want to see her because I miss her. I miss my daughter very dearly. I miss my daughter really a lot. And I've got we've got a second baby that is Hmm. 14 weeks. That baby's gonna come out at 40 weeks. I only have until about the end of May, early June. I only have until about June. June for what? June to make sure that I have financial resources to get us to relocate. Even less than that. How am I gonna do this? And I'm afraid I'm gonna freeze. And let alone, how am I gonna do this with great love? And I watched that movie yesterday with Mother Teresa, and she did some things with great love. I don't know the full story. Her being accused of child trafficking or whatever. I don't know. I choose to believe that there are good hearted people in the world. And I choose to believe that it is possible. I choose to believe it is possible to fulfill my purpose, to get paid for it, and to have love in my heart. And hey, if money did not exist, if cash, finances did not exist, what would I do with my time? Certainly not trading. Certainly not trading. I would not do that. I probably, I probably would be doing more of this. Trading is a means to an end. But does that mean I cannot do that from a place of love? No. I want to do that with great love, and I want to have great love in my heart for trading. And I want to really make all of those things count and do this from a place of great love. That's what I choose. I choose to do this from a place of really great love. A lot of great love. This old pattern once kept me safe. Maybe this part didn't know any other way. Maybe he did the best he could. Maybe I don't need to live on autopilot anymore. Maybe I can let go of the belief that work equals suffering. Maybe purpose and love don't mean danger anymore. Maybe I don't have to carry her pain anymore. Maybe God is not waiting to punish me. Maybe I can be supported in new ways. Maybe I don't have to grind to prove my worth. Maybe I am allowed to rest and feel safe. Maybe my life's purpose can actually sustain me. Hmm. Maybe money can come from doing things I love instead of doing things I hate. Maybe money can come from doing things I love instead of doing things I hate. Maybe I'm not that scared 12-year-old boy anymore. Maybe there's space for love now. I'm open to letting this shift. Let's go to round three. Well, before we go to round three, let's do a quick muscle test. And let's figure out, actually, here we go. Let's see, come on. Okay, so it was, let me copy this down so that I remember this. Gotta fix that too. Okay, so on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the most intense, the emotional intensity of doing work from a place of hate has a charge of 6. Okay, it has a charge of 5. It has a charge of 4. It has a charge of 3. It has a charge of 2. Okay, so we went from a 6 to a 2. So we're making progress. Let's get to a 0 so we can clear this up now. I'm choosing a new way to be supported now. I am treating this 12-year-old part of me with love. I am safe enough now to release old survival patterns. I am allowed to work with love, not fear. I am willing to trust that God supports my purpose. I am open to love becoming my new fuel. I am letting go of autopilot survival. I am choosing alignment over fear. I am someone who can be provided for in loving ways. I am safe even when I rest. I am rewiring the meaning of work. I am stepping into purpose with courage. I am releasing fear based striving. I am shifting into love based creation. I am enough, even when I slow down. I'm supporting that. And I just remember these moments where this time, it was a difficult time. It was a very difficult and traumatizing time. And I remember having jobs that I did not want to have. I worked jobs because I wanted money. And I don't think that's really so good to be that way and to live that life. To live life in that way where you're just doing work for cash. I want the cash, but I don't want to work this job. But this job is going to give me the cash that I want. So that already creates an inner conflict. I don't want to do this thing, but I want this. That's what I really want. I really just want the reward. I want that thing. That's the thing I want. But what we're doing is conditioning ourselves. I was conditioning myself to be dependent and reliant on working a job for money. So now I've built up that imprint. I built up that imprint, and I saw Yolanda Sarah work this job. She did not want to work a job. She didn't want to work. It was very obvious because she would constantly call out of work. And maybe at best there were when before she was fired, she went into work maybe like once a week or a couple of times in 2 weeks. And I think she thought that she could get away with that. I don't know. She was saying, "Oh, I had a city job. You can't get fired from a city job or whatever." And she had that confidence. But I think that's really stupid. Like, you are an employee. You are expected to work. If you do not work, if you do not be a good employee, if you're constantly calling out sick, if you're constantly having sick days, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to get fired. Let's just be really honest about this. Get on to Sarah. And I'm scared to teach my kids this. I'm scared to teach my kids, like, if I can't figure this out, if I can't figure out how to have success generating my own income, I would feel a lot of shame. I would feel a lot of shame and embarrassment for myself because I've been doing this for years, over a decade, trying to figure this out. And the truth is, all you have to do is just show up and be consistent. There's nothing difficult about this. Even with trading, it's it's hard only because it's the emotion and the psychology of the person that's pressing the button and just ensuring that you have a strategy that correlates to those events being either bullish or bearish and making a decision based on that. Understanding the market, understanding world economics, understanding that whenever there are global events, how does that play out and how does that affect something else? That's all that really is. And the ability to do that very quickly and efficiently is going to be reliant on the use of artificial intelligence. And so I choose to make sure that I know this now and I choose to be ready for that wave. And I think I'm just scared. I think I'm just scared of, like, hey, what if I haven't done this with enough love? What if God does not approve? I've seen in my life the influence of God in my life. And I've seen that growing up the way that I did should not be where I am today. I should not be where I am today. And the fact that I am where I am today and I made it out of Brooklyn, according to my biological mother, she had this fear I should have been dead, in jail, or on drugs. That was her belief, that was her fear, that was her worry and concern for me. And I was not that. And I'm saying that because I strongly believe that God had everything to do with it. Because I'm not that smart. I'm smart enough, but I'm not that smart. And I can work every day. I can do this I could do EFT tapping every day. I could put it on a camera every single day. I could do this all day, every day. I could do this for hours. I could just tap on my bullshit for hours. That's easy. But where do subscribers come from? Where do views come from? What about even getting paid to do this? And the last YouTube channel that I had when I started it with a cracked screen smartphone. I was making these tarot videos, and very quickly I started to get subscribers. Like literally within a week, I started to get hundreds upon hundreds of subscribers. And I wasn't ready for that. So when I actually had the opportunity, when that moment actually came, I wasn't ready. However, I do know now at this stage that it was to connect me to my partner, Hema. And I keep hearing this song from Neo and Mariah Carey, Lightning Don't Strike the Same Place Twice. So I'm kind of thinking to myself, is that like a metaphor for this? And like, if I'm doing this again, like, am I wasting time and money? Did I waste money on this camera? Did I waste money on the microphone? I don't know. I don't know, but I'm gonna keep doing this every day though, because hey, look, if someone doesn't show up, and if no one wants to tap on their stuff with me, okay, fine, then I'll do this myself. And that's, I think, the attitude that I'm just gonna take with this. And I want to get back to trading. This situation though with my daughter getting taken away was really traumatizing. So if it's between me and you, God, why would you want me to go through this? And that's where the confusion is for me, because I think to myself, hey, I was on this roll. I was getting up to this point where I was almost ready for the automation. All I had to do was connect the working procedures to the prompts and do a manual run, and then the system could have been set up. But now it's my deadline was December 16th. That's in a few days, and I'm not near that. I'm nowhere near that. I can't even. I sometimes I can't even turn on the computer. It was so bad before. I was so traumatized before. When they took my daughter, like, I would hear the phone ring, I get angry. I check emails, I get angry. Hear my name, I get angry. Text messages, angry. I couldn't even sometimes open up the computer without feeling my heart beat really fast. And now that I can go back to at least doing this, shows me, okay, I'm getting better, healing, I'm rehabbing from this injury. And I want to do this from a place of love. I want to have a lot of love in my heart as I do this. I want to have a lot of love in my heart as I do this. I do not want to be angry doing this. Saw Mother Teresa doing what she did from a place of great love. And I think it does take a lot of love to encourage to want to fulfill your purpose. I believe it does. I I'm not intending to be a one-hit wonder. I'm choosing to be consistent. And I would love to be financially retired. I would love to be financially retired. Hmm. I would absolutely love to be financially retired. And there's that fear. But maybe I don't have to be afraid anymore. Maybe I don't have to look at it and say, hey, if I'm not a hard worker, or whatever that means, I won't get punished for it. And what I saw and what I associated was, okay, there you go, there's the connection. I associated Yolanda Sarah losing her job was, hey, you're going to get punished and there's going to be consequences if you don't do your job. Well, I think that that is true. I also choose to think to myself, hey, well, I think there are consequences if you don't fulfill your purpose. But I also choose to believe, hey, look, God is going to support me either way. God is going to love me either way. But I want to live my purpose. I really do. I really, really want to fulfill my purpose. I want to grow lifepurpose.com and make that a big thing. No, I don't. I want other people to do it for me. That's true. That is very true. To do this as a full-time job, no, absolutely not. And that's why I do want a team. I do want a group of people that can do that for me, for us. I cannot be doing this. Not to say that I'm better or whatever. I don't choose to do this. But at the same time, I still don't want to do work from a place of hate. I don't want to go to school from a place of hate. I don't want to do things for money from a place of hate. I don't want to trade the financial markets from a place of hate. I don't want to finish this trading system from a place of hate. I choose to finish the trading operating system from a place of love. I choose to live stream every day from a place of love, not from a place of it's a chore or this is the commitment that I made. I choose to do this from a place of love. I choose to have a lot of love in my heart for this. And I choose to do it with great love. I choose to build the systems with great love. I choose to enjoy every moment. And I choose to enjoy it. And I choose to take it all in. Maybe that was the period of time for Yolanda Sarah where, hey, that was her experience. I happened to experience the consequences of this. And I certainly do not want that for my children. I do not want my children or my family to suffer because I could not work, because I cannot finish the thing, I could not do the thing. So I choose to get this thing done. And yeah, I feel that pressure. I feel that pressure to get it done. But at the same time, what's worse? Feel the pressure and get it done, or not feel the pressure and slack off. And then what happens? How would I pay the bills? How would I take care of things? How would I make sure that my kids have food to eat and a roof over their head? Because we live in a time where you need financial resources. We haven't expanded and it's to the point where we don't need a monetary system anymore. We're still at this stage where we all collectively need a monetary system, because if we did not need a monetary system, it would not exist. There'd be no need for it. Unless you want to control people. And why would you want to do that? Okay. Well, to this younger part of me, this 12-year-old part of me playing with the Power Ranger gloves on Christmas Day, is there anything that you want to say? Is there anything that you want to say? Because I know that you, loneliness and the sadness, what would you like to say? Nothing. It was already said. That was a very sad Christmas for me. That was a very sad Christmas. I'm glad it's over. I don't want anything anymore. I don't need a lot of things. Just want to have more love in my heart now. I just want to have more love in my heart. And I want to do the things I do from a place of love. Like true love. Really true love. I understand that trading is more for just the financial reasons. But that also doesn't mean, too, that I cannot be a good steward. And if this is God's will that I continue on with the trading operating system and finish this, then I choose to really do that from a place of great love. And if I were to be a grocery store clerk, if I were to be a taxi driver, if I were to be a fireman, if I were to be a doctor, if I were to be a porn star, if I were to be handicapped, if I were to feed people on the streets of Calcutta, and that was my job, and if I was really truly called in my heart to spend my days with the poor on the streets of Calcutta, then I want to do that with a lot of love in my heart, whatever that is. If it's EFT tapping, if it's creating systems, I want to do that with a lot of love. And I want to be honest with myself about how I feel. And I want to serve God. I want to make God happy. I don't know what makes God happy. God speaks to me in mysterious ways. But I want to do what God put me here on earth to do from a place of love. And when Yolanda Sarah lost her job, that Christmas was really dark and it felt very cold. And the joy was taken out of those Power Ranger gloves. And yes, I did see that working meant you have to give up time from your day. I thought working meant you have to do things you didn't enjoy because that's was your responsibility, like the Rugrats would say, responsibility, not responsibility. But maybe it doesn't have to be that way anymore. Maybe I can love what I do. Maybe I can get rewarded for it. It's a lot. It means a lot. There's a lot of things that Yolanda Sarah losing her job because she did not go to work meant. There's a lot. And yeah, that may be scary, but I'm still here. I'm still here. And I choose to believe that God has a plan. And there are things that happened in my life where I know that it's just not me. It's not just me. I'm not that smart. There's something way more intelligent. And I see how much it means to you now. See how much it means to you. We have kids. And I don't want that for them. I want them to really enjoy their life. I want them to find meaning in their life. And I want them to find meaning and joy in work and find meaning and joy in being of service. And I want them to find meaning and joy in connecting with their inner divine, God, and living their life from a very peaceful and beautiful state. Thank you, Sri Pritaji and Sri Krishnaji. And to this other part of me, I love you. And I apologize that we didn't do this sooner. I apologize that I did not give you the space and that I didn't address this fear. Please forgive me. I forgive you. I forgive myself. Yeah, I forgive you. I forgive you for holding on to these feelings and these emotional charges and staying alive inside of me. Please forgive me for not talking to you more. Please forgive me for not acknowledging you sooner. God, forgive me for not doing things with more love. God, please forgive me for not doing things with more love. Please forgive me for not doing things with great love in my heart. I want to finish this trading operating system from a place of great love. And I also want to make these live streams from a place of great love. And I want to build my systems from a place of great love. And I want to spend time with my family from a place of great love. And I want to wake up in the morning from a place of great love. And I want to go through my day from a place of great love. I love you. And I apologize. Please forgive me. God, forgive me. I forgive you. I forgive myself. I forgive the world. I forgive the outer world. And I thank you for your existence. I forgive the outer world for these beliefs and these ideas that we need to do work that we hate, that we need to make work harder than it has to be. I forgive the outer world for imprinting me with these beliefs that if I don't work a job, I'm going to be homeless and I'm going to be in scarcity and then I'm not going to be able to take care of my kids. I forgive the outer world for lying to me about I have to go to school and get good grades so that way I can get a good paying job. I forgive the outer world for creating those lies. I forgive the outer world for distracting me and for misleading me. I forgive the outer world for making me believe that I need to be educated and have degrees and go to school so that I can have jobs. I forgive the outer world for that lie. I forgive the outer world for making me waste 4 years, 4 to 5 years of my life going to school, going to university, going to college, dealing with the bullshit, being fake, being something I wasn't, because I was trained and conditioned from the educational system and from the adults that I was around that in order for me to be successful, I need a job, and that job is what pays me money. I forgive the outer world for those lies. I forgive the outer world for creating those lies and for telling me something that wasn't true. Because I know that in this era that we are in, as long as I have a camera, as long as I have access to the internet and a smart device, whether it's a computer, a phone, or a laptop, or whatever, it's going to be fine. I can do whatever I want. All I need is a computer, internet connection, and a camera, and a microphone, right? You got to have a microphone. And even then, I can have AI now create videos for me and create stories and all these things. So you can create a whole bunch of faceless YouTube channels if you really wanted to. The possibilities are endless. And I've seen that there are so many people that are now going into this work. They're doing online work. And I remember for years, even before people were doing this, I was interested in that. Never got to that point because I had doubts, because I had this fear. I had all these fears, and I choose to change my perception around work, purpose, doing what I love, and money now. I really, and I ask of your help, God. Violet flame, violet flame, violet flame, dissolve, consume, annihilate, obliterate, and transmute all meaning, all memories. Delete my entire memory bank and emotional memory around money, work, and purpose now. Please help me hit the huge reset button, Mother Mary. Please help me hit a huge reset button now. We got to hit a huge reset button now, Mother Mary. Help these people that are watching this live stream. Please help them hit a huge reset on their money stuff now. And let's change the way we see this. Let's do more work that we love, that means more to us, that has meaning to us, that makes us feel like we are doing something with our lives. Because this life is short, and I do believe that God is orchestrating life. I do believe God is the master orchestrator. And I choose to let this part go. I choose to let this part of me go that took on the imprints of what working for money from a place of hate or being on autopilot meant. I understand that this was an imprint from Yolanda Sarah. That was her story. That was her truth. That is not my truth. That is not my story. I choose to have a good time doing the work that I enjoy doing. I choose to show up every day on this live stream and have a really good time and just do it from a good place. Do it from a good inner state. That's what I choose. to this part of me, to this 12-year-old frozen memory, to this echo, I love you, and I apologize for keeping you alive. Please forgive me. God forgive me. I forgive you. I forgive myself. I forgive the outer world for all the lies, for all the imprints, and I thank you for your existence with unconditional love and acceptance, and I'll send you back to God's light for permanent and everlasting transmutation and transformation. And so it is, and so it was. Thank you. Now that I've honored this younger part, I can move forward with more love. Now that I know where this fear came from, I can release it. Now that I am no longer 12, I can choose differently. Now that I see work differently, I can breathe again. From this moment forward, fear. From this moment forward, I choose love over fear. From this moment forward, I choose love over fear. From this moment forward, I let my purpose guide me. From this moment forward, I let God guide me. From this moment forward, I allow God to support me. From this moment forward, safety does not require self-abandonment. From this moment forward, I am open to being financially supported in loving ways. From this moment forward, I am not alone in providing for myself. From this moment forward, I trust God more, and I open my heart to God more, and I let love, God's love, into my heart more now. From this moment forward, I choose aligned action over fear-driven hustle. From this moment forward, I welcome abundance that reflects my purpose. From this moment forward, I release shame around work. From this moment forward, I carry love into everything I do. So it is, and so it is, and so it is. Thank you. 3 deep breaths. Exhale when I say. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Show me yes. Show me no. Show me true. Show me false. My name is Gabriel. My name is Hema. It's Mama. My name is Soraya. On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the highest, the emotional intensity of doing work from a place of hate has an emotional charge of 6. It has an emotional charge of 6 or less. On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the highest, the emotional intensity of doing work from a place of hate has an emotional charge of 5. It has an emotional charge of 4. It has an emotional charge of 3. It has an emotional charge of 2. It has an emotional charge of 1. It has an emotional charge of 0. I am capable of doing work from a place of love. I choose to do work from a place of love. I choose to do work from a place of hate. I do my work from a place of hate. I do my work from a place of love. That's right. Oh, man. Okay. Now we're going to take out both hands Ah, okay. Now we're going to take out both hands and in one hand we have the 12-year-old part that learned you have to do work from a place of hate and autopilot. And on the other hand, we have God and God's light. Show me yes, show me no, show me true, show me false. The part of me that thought work must be done from a place of hate is ready to go back to God's light. The part of me that took on the imprints and the beliefs about work from Yolanda Sarah, and especially that time where she lost her job, is ready to go back to God's light now. Okay. You have one hand here, you have the other hand here. Now, see that part going back into God's light. Deep breath in. Much better. Okay, well, thank you for today. I thank myself for today. Thank you, God, for today. If you are interested in doing this work for yourself, you can download the free EFT GPT and you can work through whatever issue you're working through. All you have to do is just download that EFT GPT, have a chat GPT account, type in whatever the issue is or whatever it is that you want to work on, and you'll get the scripts, and then you can just tap from there, similar to how I did. Okay. Hope that was helpful. And I invite you to come again tomorrow. Till then,